YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Des A1. Please say the A1. Coming at you from the Big Dub Network, where we strive for the W's and we learn from our L's. Today, people, is another W. This is a W in my book. Big W. We introduced our new head coach, Dan Quinn. DQ, Dan Quinn. Be where your feet are. That's mentally. Be where your feet are. Where are you right now? You are not there mentally. You are out of it, and you are not performing to the best of your abilities. I love the energy coming off of Dan Quinn. There's this energy behind what he's saying. There's this energy behind his thoughts of where the football team is, what Adam Peters can also do for the football team moving forward, and based off what Josh Harris will allow these two guys to do as they reach for success in Washington in the future. Man, if you not pumped after today, anybody watching this, I know you probably have seen the press conference. Anybody watching any Washington Commanders content here on YouTube, I know you've seen the press conference. If you're not pumped based off what took place in that press conference, I don't know what's going to get you pumped, man. Dan Quinn, it's almost like he wanted to be here, people. Whether he was our first option or our last option, he's where he wants to be. He's where he wanted to be. He identified us as a place where success can be had. It's not just, okay, I just want to be a head coach who's offering the positions. No. This is a little bit different. I think he wanted to be here. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I feel like as he wanted to be here and he identified what it would take to be successful here, and he wanted to be here, and here we are. Dan Quinn, head coach of the Washington Commanders. He said he wanted to get this thing rocking, man. I almost believe that he wants to get, he wishes practice was tomorrow. All pads, physicality, explosiveness being on display tomorrow. It's just that energy coming off of him, man. It's just the energy coming off of him, and you know, being pumped about next year is doesn't mean, you know, we're gonna win 10 plus games. We're gonna improve so much. But what I feel like he has the capability of doing is instilling this new thought process, game plan, and play style for the Washington Commanders. There's always those teams that, you know, hit a little bit harder, play a little bit harder, try a little bit harder than others. And I feel like what Dan Quinn wants to do here is be one of those teams that's playing a little bit harder, that's hitting a little bit harder, that's finishing through the end of the play, playing to the whistle, man. I think Dan Quinn wants to instill something in Washington that we've lacked a little bit, you know, playing through the whistle, just being explosive, being physical. I mean, if those two things come together, you have a quality football team within itself. Then the X's and O's can take you to the next level, which he's put people in a position that he feels like bring those X's and O's. He said he wanted Cliff Kingsbury because he has a difficult offense to game plan against. What person would know that other than a DQ, a defensive coordinator? DQ's had to, you know, go up against this offense, so he feels like it's one of those to be difficult to plan against. So he wants that defense. He wants that offense to be on the field for a team that he's the head coach for. As far as Joe Witt, he said he's been with them along the way. He knows football. He's a football mind. He's been able to create this new modern type of defense that Dan Quinn helped create, this new modern type of defense, and Joe Witt's going to call the plays. And he's pretty much put those two guys in a position for the X's and O's to take place. And Dan Quinn's here just to manage the ship, just to steer the ship in the right direction. And I feel like he's the perfect guy to do so. I said in a previous video, everything he has touched has turned to gold. That's not a mistake. It's the energy. It's the belief in the guy that's out there on the field. If believing that you are better than you even think you are. Believing that you're here, but you can be here. Just do these things and you can be here. Taking guys that, you know, nobody looks at as possibilities of being successful and taking them to another level. We already know getting to the NFL is probably the most difficult. Getting there and staying there for two reasons. Health, you're hitting someone a lot. You're getting hit and you're hitting people a lot. So you got to remain healthy. And also, next man up. You know, there's a young man coming into the league every year that's looking to take your spot. And he's been able, and what he cherishes, as he stated in the press conference, is finding guys to take them to the next level, to help them achieve goals. He's a teacher. He wants to be a teacher of the game of football, to help a guy get to another level that he didn't even believe they can get to. Dan Quinn is ready to get shit rocking, man. And one of my favorite quotes, and I realized, you know, why I actually enjoy going to work on a daily basis, because you're doing hard shit with the good people. That means you're doing difficult shit with quality people around you. That makes doing the difficult shit on a daily basis, it makes it a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit more tolerable. It makes it a little bit more fun. That makes it a little bit more possible for you to feel like I can get through this day, even though I'm doing hard shit. I'm doing it with good people. And he got that from Adam Peters and the ownership group, whoever they had in these rooms interviewing him. He felt like good people are around me. I can definitely be in a position to succeed if I'm in Washington. And look where he is. He's in Washington. Did Dan Quinn really want to be here? I feel like he did. Was he our number one choice? I don't know. Number two choice? I don't know. But most importantly, Dan Quinn wanted to be here. He wanted this job, and he felt like he could take it to the next level. And two of the reasons, two positions, he was asked about personnel that's already in the building. You know, we can only talk about what's already in the building right now, and everything else is speculation as far as free agency and the draft. Talked about two things in the building, and I'll tell you how it correlates to why he's here and what he thinks this job takes to be successful. We talked about two position groups specifically: defensive interior, wide receiver. Defensive interior, wide receiver. He was asked to give some adjectives on what your play style for here in Washington. Physicality, explosiveness. Physicality and explosiveness. Two positions, deep defensive interior, wide receiver. Two adjectives to describe the play style: physicality and explosive. He identified those two groups as success points for what's already here, and he's going to build around that. Dan Quinn is not in a room where they're talking about trading Jonathan Allen, in my opinion. Dan Quinn is not one that says get a second and a fourth or third, get whatever you can for John Allen. Dan Quinn is not here for it. Dan Quinn said, Jonathan Allen's here, I can work with him. I want to work with him. We're not asking Jonathan Allen if he wants to be a part of this. It's not a rebuild, according to Dan Quinn. It's a recalibration. So he's in the room asking. He's not asking if John wants to be a part of this recalibration. He's telling John what he can do to take this recalibration to the next level faster, to get us to the promised land faster. And he knows, or he feels, that Jonathan Allen is definitely going to be a part of that. It's one of the position groups that he felt most confident in. And on the other side of the ball, the wide receivers. And that says a lot because we go out and get a Cliff Kingsbury who has a air raid type of offense. Doesn't mean he doesn't run the ball. He runs the ball as well, and it's effective when he does. But we're going to air it out. We're going to air it out. With whatever young quarterback we bring in the building, we're going to air it out. And as Dan Quinn already stated, it's one of the offenses that's harder to game plan against. And if we continue to improve all facets of the offense and with quality players, the more quality players that we can get that can play at an earlier age, as far as, rookie, sophomore year, the better we're going to be, the faster we're going to be better. And that's where Adam Peters come in. Dan Quinn talked about being explosive on offense. And you talk about Dot and McLaurin. Is he also talking about Curtis? Maybe. Is he also talking about Diami? Maybe. But I know the quality receivers that we have, we should be successful, at least on the outside, at least a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. I agree with that. It's something that EB wasn't able to take us to the next level with, unfortunately. But maybe Cliff can. I think he can. Dan thinks he can. So if DQ thinks he can, then shit, I might as well. So let's get this shit rocking. We're at a point where success is not that far away, people. Success is not that far away, people. Within his second year in Atlanta, they were in the Super Bowl. Not looking for that personally to be the case here in Washington, but is it out of the realm of belief? I don't know. If you told me we'll be in the Super Bowl the second year of Dan Quinn's coaching tenure here in Washington, would I believe it? I don't know. Kind of 50-50. You have to show me. You have to show me something, and fast, for me to believe something like that. But what I do believe is Dan Quinn is the guy for this job. Adam Peters is the guy for this job. And Josh Harris is just going to allow these guys to do their job. He said Josh Harris said something very important. It's their jobs. See, guys at the top have to realize, let everybody under them do their job. If you don't like what they're doing, get rid of them, but at least let them do their job. And he's going to allow Adam Peters and Dan Quinn to do their job. And Dan Quinn has put together this staff that he feels like can best do the job. I'm pumped up, man. If you're not pumped up, I don't know what it would take. And pumped up doesn't mean, I'm getting my hopes up for success and we're just going to be bad again next year. We're the same old Washington Commanders. We're the same old shitty ownership group. We're the same old trash front office. We're going to get a retread coach. If you feel like that, okay. If we win games, you'll change it. If we don't, you'll scream it even louder. But I'm pumped up because I feel like we got a head coach that wants to be here, that has a plan, that's established a plan. He shared that plan throughout this interview process. And these guys truly believe in him enough to give him a shot. And I'm pumped up because Dan Quinn has some energy around him that we haven't seen in our head coach. It's deeper than the hat turned backwards. It's deeper than that. Yeah, I could tell his interactions with these players is going to be on a different level from what these players have experienced in their NFL careers. And I'm definitely not throwing shots at Ron. I think he did improve the coach. We did put a lot of Band-Aids on stab wounds, but at the same time, it stopped the bleeding at least a little bit. It got us to the point where Josh Harris and his group could come in there, purchase a team that's not the flat out worst. We're not the worst we're not the worst roster franchise in the league. We're just not. And even taking baby steps, if you're not the worst, you're one step closer to being the best. And I'm taking this positive approach, man, because this is something we've never seen if you're a fan of this franchise. All we've known is dysfunction. All we've known is doing things backwards. All we've known is non-alignment. This shit has not been aligned as long as I've been a fan of this team. And now seeing it done, quote unquote, the right way, it's something different. And I'm pumped up for this shit, man. I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up for free agency. I hope we make a splash in that. And if we don't, then I understand that Peters has a different idea about this money that we have. I'm pumped up for the draft. Trading up for Caleb, of course I would love it. But if we stay put at 2, take Drake May, take Jaden Daniels, I'll love it. I'm more interested in what we have to plan for day 2 anyway in the draft. Second and third round, I'm more pumped for those rounds versus what we're doing at 2. I know what we're doing at 2 is the most important, yes, but filling out a competitive roster, it will do that in round 2 and 3. And anything after 2 or 3 is just extra. And that's really the reason Adam Peters is here. That's really the reason Adam Peters is here, because he's been able to run the 49ers late round drafts according to what we've been told. He runs the late round drafts for the 49ers. I almost said 76ers. For the 49ers, he runs those late round drafts. So he's going to continue to do that for us. And what can we expect from those picks? Those be quality picks, not just throwaways, not just projects, not just experiments. They're going to be quality players that are able to contribute early in their NFL careers. And that's what's going to take us to that next level a little bit faster. I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. You should be pumped as well. I'm Des A1 from the Big Dub Network. Do all that YouTube stuff like liking, subscribing, commenting. Be respectful to me, and I'll be respectful to you as well. I am Des A1 of the Big Dub Network. We have our new head coach. We have our offensive coordinator. We have our defensive coordinator. Now let's fill in all those other spots. And we going to be all right, people. We are going to be all right. Have a little faith. I'm not saying get big-headed, but have a little faith. We're doing it the right way. And until next time, peace.